Hi there, fellow YouTubers. How are you doing? I have been very busy with different things, so totally sucked at wanting to get out videos. Unfortunately, as much as I'd like to do the videos that I had mentioned in a previous vlog video kind of thing or whatever vlog, I have really concentrated my efforts on writing as well as game stuff for the game I'm making. So I'll get into that a little bit later. First, however, I wanted to do something a little bit different with this video because I was talking with Liam, the Donovan Viper, on Twitter a little bit, and at the behest of his suggestion, I guess, for lack of better words, he said I should just kind of do it, and then I there's a lot of things that you guys don't know about me, just because personally, I feel that if I were to say some of these things, you'd probably be like, "That's really boring." To me, it's really fascinating. I love history. Yeah, and there's a lot of people who don't like history, which is totally fine. Yeah, I mean, not everybody's gonna like everything, kind of thing. But history to me is really interesting because it is the human element replayed time and time again. And of course, there are different environmental, social structures, and whatnot that will force the human element to be a bit different, but they're still people. So if you were, as Dan Carlin suggested in one of his awesome podcast episodes, if you don't know what it is, it's Hardcore History, fantastic series. You can find it on iTunes. Give him a listen. He mentioned in one of them, it wasn't the Thor one, but it was one talking about in Munster. I'm not going to go into a bunch of deals with it, but if you were to take a child from this period and use a time machine and throw them back into a different time period, that child is going to come up in that era and grow up like that. That's and that's just woo. That's how easy it is to doink and then put them in there, and then they'll think that burning people at the stake's a fairly normal, fun time. Hopefully not, but so it's just I don't know. I find it really fascinating, but I also find words fascinating. I like words. I like big words. I like small words. I like long words. I like short words. Well, that's the same damn thing. It's just, but brain just broke there. But obviously, I don't like words enough then. But the melding of the two, I have a little note thing here for me. So this is going to be a lengthy one. So I apologize in advance. But combining the two is something I also really like because you can at least see where the word originated from. And I'm talking about etymology, and it is I mean, every now and again I'll have a word and I'll just look it up randomly. Doesn't mean I retain that information in my head, but I do just kind of like to see, oh, this is from the 15th century. Oh, this is from Latin. That's pretty fascinating. Like I said, I'll put links or little time stamps below if you just want to skip all this. I like it. I think it's cool. And I wanted to bring up at least a couple of the days, because this is more importantly just two in particular, and then kind of a third one. But I want to talk a little bit about the etymology of a couple of the days of the week, because I don't know why. It's just, for whatever reason, I find it really interesting. So, for example, take the word Thursday. Thursday, it's just a day. It's just whatever. It's a day, but it comes from because a long time ago, when the western portion of the Roman Empire, when they kind of moved to the Byzantine and all that kind of thing, started to go, oh, fuck, we're in trouble. The Germanic tribes were coming in, and so you have this crazy mix of culture, a decaying Roman Empire, or, Western Roman Empire, and these Germanic tribes coming in and just kind of mucking up the place. And then they, build from there. And so you have days of the week that correspond to the gods and stuff, the Roman gods and the Germanic tribes gods and stuff. Thursday comes from, Thor's Day. We all know, Thor, the hammer wielding thunder, kind of the thunder god. I mean, he got that hammer. He's sometimes connected with both Jupiter or Jupiter, with the Roman version of Zeus, or Heracles. These two, and this is kind of important. So that's why when the Germanic tribes came in, that those kind of fused together in a way. The days kind of fused together, and we were stuck with Thursday as time went on. But it was like Dies Jova, I believe, like day of Jupiter, and because of the similarities between the two. So you have Germanic tribes from the north have it's Thor's Day, and Jupiter. Now, the thing about it is the Germanic tribes had another god who, and you can see this all throughout Mesopotamia, where there's certain gods or goddesses who are like, yeah, you're super awesome, and then a generation or two later they kind of fall by the wayside and other ones take their place. Either they borrow, or they kind of, almost like a damn amoeba, just kind of like take over the responsibilities that are given to this one god, then, or goddess, transfers to another one. And you get that with the Germanic tribes with Tyr. Tyr was seen as, he's this one-handed god, which is the Norse mythology is really, or Germanic tribes and very interesting stuff where you have one-handed gods. Woden gives up an eye so that he can have all this stuff. It's pretty badass stuff. But the thing with Tears, or it's kind of like, it's Tyr. That's the only way I can think of saying as Tyr. But his name means thunder. That's it's thunder, and he is also a warlike, or he's like the war god. He's got one hand. He's just this badass. But as time went on, Odin or Woden and Thor took popularity, and they were the ones that kind of became the kind of the main gods for that pantheon. Even though Tyr was kind of like, he was the father of all these gods and goddesses and stuff, his importance, and for lack of a better word, respect, just kind of went to the wayside, but decreased as Odin and Thor kind of came in. And this is where I'm getting with Thursday. And so you have Thor, very similar to Tyr with some of his elements, even though he's kind of more of a Herculean figure to the Roman eyes and whatnot. And Tyr and Mars is the Roman god of Ares, and Jupiter is the Roman god of Zeus from the Greek pantheon. I know I'm kind of going all over the place, but it all works out sort of in the end. There is something to be said about this that I think's really fascinating, and we can throw Odin in there. Odin is Mercury, and I am totally drawing a blank on Hermes. Hermes. He's the Greek equivalent of Hermes, I believe. if any of this is wrong, please correct me. But so these three in particular, I mean, I can use Freya as an example, but I'm not as quite read up on it, so I probably would botch things. But Venus. Anywho, you have those three in particular, who eventually we get our name for Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. Tyr, Tuesday, Wednesday, Wednesday, and Thursday, Thursday. I know I'm botching the pronunciations of that. I apologize, but that's about as good as I can do at the moment. And these three, translate back. Tuesday with Tyr goes to, and I've already lost it. Oh, Aries, derp. It goes from Mars to Aries, and Wednesday is Odin to Mercury to Hermes. Thursday is Thor to Jupiter, and Zeus. So that's from the Germanic, like the North, the Norse, the Roman, and the Greek. Now, the reason why I'm kind of going in this way is that there seems to have been a potentially interesting history with all these names. Not so much the Odin one. The Odin one, I only brought him up more so to just kind of paint up a couple more days in there, but more so with Tuesday and Thursday. There's an interesting kind of connect here, because Tyr in Estonia is connected with Dispitar, which is the Romans kind of think of it more as Pluto, but name wise it seems to loop from Estonia to the Germanic tribes with Tyr. Now, Tuesday is very similar to what we have when it comes to Zeus. We have Zeus, that we say Zeus, but it's really not, I don't think that's the proper pronunciation, but it's more of a D. I'm like Deus, deuce. So you have like a deuce, and I probably spelled that wrong, knowing me, dirt. And if anybody's played Xenogears, that is something you have to take care of. And Zeus is Jupiter and whatnot, and that word can actually be linked back to the Proto-Indo-European peoples. You're like the Caspian steppe. I mean, it's this Eurasia part way, thousands and thousands of years ago. And there seems to be a commonality between, which is kind of interesting. It's that these two words, Deus and Tyr, which kind of twists to Thor in a way, just from how it is, they all kind of come back in Greek under Deus. In a way, not so much the Thor part, but more so the Tyr. Is that you have Deus, and Deus is same with when you take it back to the Proto-Indo-European peoples. It is Deus. So it's like Deus in a way. I like I said, pronunciations are real off. But this step god from that time, that like 5,000 years ago or 5,000 BCE, thousand years ago, is the same god of thunder and the father sky that eventually is used in Greek, which is used in Roman, which is used in the Norse mythologies, and that is where we get the particularly where we get Tuesday, because that's kind of it's both how we get Tuesday and Thursday because of those different sorts of the splinter. There seemed to have been a splinter. You had Tyr, and then Thor and Odin took the place of Tyr. But Tyr, because he was similar to the god of war, kind of took the Mars's spot when it came to the Romans and stuff. So you have a god from a father, like sky god, who thousands of years ago attribute to the days of the week that we use now, particularly Thursday and Tuesday. Now, the reason that, to me, that's pretty fascinating as it is. I think that's really, really cool. But there's something else, a little thing that I never really thought of, is that those three in particular, and you can actually make the case for the other days of the week as well. They're, Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday are these gods are also a part of the celestial. They're connected celestially. You have Tuesday, which is Mars, the red planet, god of war kind of thing. You have Wednesday, which is Mercury, first planet, and then you've got Jupiter, Zeus or Jupiter. There's another planet right there, kind of a big planet. And these all, and this is just what's cool to me, is that they all represent those bodies, those planets. In Japanese, I'm just going to take it to Japanese, but in Japanese, when they changed over to the Gregorian calendar, they took those days and connected them to the same celestial bodies. So they knew this kind of history. So Tuesday uses the fire kanji, and that same kanji represents what they would call the planet Mars. Same with Wednesday. They use the water kanji, which represents Mercury. They use it to, that's what they call it for Mercury and stuff. And same with Jupiter. They use the tree kanji. And it's just a really cool thing to me to see how that's all connected like that, from a, more so with Tuesday and Thursday, from a father sky god from people, millennia ago. I know that was just damn near 20 minutes, but to me that's just a really, really cool thing. And I know that there's a lot more to it than just saying that kind of thing, but there's, obviously it excites me because I just blabbered on for nearly 20 minutes about it. So yeah, look into it a little bit more if you're interested. Just loosely, Freya is Venus. If my memory serves correctly, Venus is Aphrodite. I could be wrong about that one, but and that's same for the sky. They use the money kanji for it, and that's the same they use for Friday. And then Saturday is Saturn. Saturn's day, and that's the same they use for the Saturn. It's the Earth kanji. Monday's the moon. Anywho, so if you really are interested in it, and I have not bored you to tears with it, do kind of look into that sort of thing. It's fascinating, particularly if you like mythology and whatnot, and kind of see how that all connects. Anywho, I do have a couple other things I did want to mention on this little list here. Yeah, this is all I had to go off of. Trails in the Sky SC, the English version is being released on Thursday. How that works. Not really, I wasn't. Anywho, it comes out on the 29th you can play it on the PSP, the Vita, or Steam, but you have to download it electronically. You have to download it, dirt. But it is a fantastic game. I love SC. From the original FC, if I recall right, you could not choose a difficulty. In this one, you can choose between like easy, normal, hard, or nightmare. I'll be honest, I've only played through the game once, but I'm going to start it up again. I kind of started it on Kai, which was the HD version for the PS3. However, I'm probably going to cut back just because it's handheld and it's easier for me to play instead of on a TV. I'll probably just go with the PSP version and replay it. So anybody who does get it and play and has been waiting 4 years to play it, we can talk about it, because like I said, I've only played through it. Well, maybe I was starting to say it. I've only played through it once, and I loved it. I really do like it a lot. It's a really fun and a bit more challenging game, and it's a little bit longer. It's also 2 UMDs, which is pretty nifty. It is it's a great game. And it's probably, if this was not as good as it was, I may have been a little bit more when it came to the other games in the series, but it was not. It was fantastic, so I continued on, and I love the third and stuff. Anywho, if you did get FC and you're waiting for SC, second chapter, get it on Thursday. Steam, GOG, I think, has it. It's just, yeah. And then we can talk about it and be friends and stuff. Yay! Other things, I'm still working on story stuff. Whoa, this is actually, I've almost fully handwritten out a notepad here. So, and I'm still not done with the story. I do have it up online. If you want to check it out and read it, it's a first edit. I am also, even though it is a first edit, I am also trying to work out, and I think I might have mentioned it before, audio recordings of it. Perhaps I have somebody to help me with that, which would be great, because it's hard for me to record. Usually there's people always in the house and there's always noise, so yeah. The other thing is still got, it's of course going to be until we release the alpha, but we have continuum game up, not continuum, but I mean periodic, I guess. We have game updates, like a blog update for the Sadra's Calling game. If you haven't checked it out, there, I'll leave you a link for the website. And we also have the Facebook page for it, and Twitter if you want to follow and like that and stuff. Any feedback on that would be great. Just to say, hey, this all sucks. I'd feel sad, but yeah. So that, I think, wraps it up. And I totally did that in one shoot, and I'm not redoing that because I think that be it. And for those who have been following, reading up on the story or whatnot, thank you. Any sort of feedback on that would be good. They're great. As well as for the game, thank you for those who are following it. And if you do like it, share it. If you know, or even if you don't like it, but you know somebody who might like it, definitely pass it along. That'd be great. I would greatly appreciate that. And I should hopefully have a chapter 7 soon finished. So that is it. Thank you for listening, guys. Enjoy your week. Oh, no, that is not it. I lied. I did end up getting Sora no Kiseki FC Evolution. I'm going to be brutally honest. I hated the normal cover for the game. It just, I whatever reason, this cover is actually what spurred me on to buy it. I was like, well, not spurred. I really liked how this cover was. It actually felt more appropriate, but it has a nice little book, little art book. Ooh, and it's this one's the Yoshua version of it, and then there's also this, which I think Greg would really appreciate. But I don't know if I'd ever really watch it because it's really not my cup of tea. But it's what's cool is that I haven't gotten to the point to get to more of it, but from what I've heard, they did tweak a little things. It makes it a little bit easier, but they did add a difficulty adjuster to it. So, like, that was something I was starting to do, and I've beaten FC on the HD version as well as the third. I don't know why I skipped SC, but I beat those two, the HD versions, and the third I beat on hard, which I usually don't play games on hard. I just pick on a normal, but I thought it was, I had beaten this before. Let's get it a little harder there, and that was really fun. And I had been playing through Zero no Kiseki on hard, which I was really enjoying. So I will start up on SC on hard as well and go for that. So yeah, that's it. If you have stuck around this whole time to listen to all of this and my ramblings, thank you, because it's been 26 minutes. Yeah. Here's the Nakamura mushroom. So lazy. Anywho, that is it. Enjoy your week. Have a good one. Get SC if you played FC and you liked it and whatnot. And have a good day.